Hey, what are you up to later? Depending on your time zone, Venus is leaving the plush pillow palace of Taurus and entering the airy, light, playful sign of Gemini on April 10th or 11th. So, this is kind of exciting. We have had a fair amount of activity going on in our Gemini house, not necessarily fun activity. As you know, Mars spent about 7 months in the sign of Gemini, tearing it up and taking its time. That wasn't a fun transit for a lot of people. But Venus enters as like a healing salve. Venus is playful and here to have a good time. So this is an exciting transit too, because right off the bat, upon Venus's entry into the sign of Gemini, she's forming a trine with Pluto in Aquarius. This is one we haven't seen before. We haven't seen a lot of these personal planets making aspects with Pluto in Aquarius. So this is all new and interesting for us. And Venus in Gemini can get on board with new and interesting. In fact, I like to think of the shift from Venus in Taurus to Venus in Gemini as, oh my gosh, I was like in the bathtub for too long and now like the sun is out and I need to go seize the day. Like I need to go. I've been in my living room for too long. Spring is here. I need to get on my bike and see what else has sort of like popped up in my neighborhood in the last few months. So Venus in Gemini is like, yeah, I'm not as comfortable and it's not as like rich and pleasurable as it was in Taurus, but I'm craving a new adventure. I'm craving some stimulus. I'm bored. So let's see what else is out there. So back to this Venus-Pluto business. So this is a flowing trine between Venus and Pluto, although we haven't seen this in the air element. It's just been in the earth element for the last several years, like 14 years or so. So what does it look like now that Venus and Pluto are having this trine relationship in the air sign? It's definitely exploratory. It's less of like an embodied sensual experience with Pluto. It's more intellectual. So yeah, there's something about what can we discover about together? Because Venus-Pluto is a combination that can cultivate intimacy. It can cultivate a deeper connection with friends, with lovers, with anyone. It could come up like I used to do hair. Like it could come up in the client chair where someone just kind of spills their guts to you. So you never know how it's going to arise. And in fact, it could be like with Venus and Gemini, it could be in the line at the grocery store. There's something kind of spontaneous about it and spur of the moment. Like Venus and Gemini could happen anywhere. So expect the unexpected a little bit here, but there's something about deepening our connection, deepening our relationship through intellect or through discovery, through having an open mind, perhaps. So yeah, another thing that this might be good for is research. A lot of times I think of Mercury and Pluto for research, but Venus is in Mercury's sign. So if there's something that you're dead set on figuring out and you want to know or you want to understand better, this is good for that. Also, I think because of the dualistic nature of Gemini, there's something about Venus and Gemini's willingness to more deeply understand another point of view with Pluto. I want to understand you better. I want to understand your side. Like Gemini is one of those signs that's really good at playing devil's advocate or pretending like they don't agree, just because they want to keep it interesting, just because they want to keep the conversation going. And they're one to change their minds a lot. So yeah, Venus in Gemini is willing to entertain multiple different facets of perspective. So Venus and Gemini might say, yeah, I really want to get a read on that. And like, while I might normally just disagree, I'm here for it. I'm going to dig a little deeper. I'm going to probe you a little bit deeper. And through that intellectual connection, we might deepen our connection. So yeah, that might be some kind of food for thought here as we move into this transit. Again, this is like an energy that we haven't really worked with in a while, this Venus trine Pluto. So yeah, Venus is going to be in the sign of Gemini through May 7th. So how is this going to impact our relationships and our social life and finances? That's another thing that Venus rules. Well, my one piece of advice is keep room in your calendar for spontaneity, because the tendency is to make plans with everyone, not just your solid Venus and Taurus group of people. This is the people from all corners of life. Venus and Gemini is like, let's mix it up. Let's hang out with that person. Let's hang out with that person. We haven't seen them in a while. Or so-and-so is in town. Let's make a plan. Keep room in the calendar for spontaneity, because the dualistic nature of this sign means people are going to be changing their minds. That's right. You're going to be canceling. You're going to be crossing things out of your calendar, and yeah, just like rearranging. People are going to be canceling on you. You're going to be canceling on them, because guess what? Something better came up and you'd rather go to that concert than sit on their back porch. So it's just what it is. It's just the nature of Venus and Gemini. We got to keep it interesting right now. So yeah, this is also a time to get a little bit more experimental with your style, with your hair. I remember Venus spent a long time in Gemini. There was a Venus retrograde in the spring of 2020. And I knew that there was going to be like some experimental fashions, and we had masks coming out, so we certainly did. But the thing that has stuck is leisure wear. I think Venus and Gemini is leisure wear. So yeah, if there's something, if you haven't tried those joggers yet, this is the time. Venus and Gemini, just, do it. So that's a little bit about Venus and Gemini, and we'll be talking about her more as we move through this transit through early May. But for right now, that's your astrology shot of the day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Thanks for tuning in with me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine. You can also book your reading with me at catherineurban.com. And hey, you may also want to join Cauldron, my monthly astrology meetup.